Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell. You'll get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And when I'm not asking Bruce, hey, how big was Batista's? Well, you know. One of the things I like to do is help people save money. And if you're watching this video right now and you're in a 30-year loan, man, you're overpaying your single biggest bill and you may not even realize it. I want you to do a little experiment for me. Take your calculator out, multiply your monthly house payment by 360 payments. That's how many payments there are in a 30-year loan. That big scary number, that's your total of payments. You're looking at that number? You know you can do better. Keep more of your own money right now and go to savewithconrad.com. Or maybe you've got credit card debt. Man, it's not a matter of if I can save you money with that. Your average interest rate on a credit card is more than 20%. And by the way, all the interest you pay on those credit cards, it's not tax deductible. Whereas the mortgage interest, well, that is tax deductible. So if you owe this debt, it's up to you how to pay it back. Doesn't it make sense to get the cheapest rate possible and the greatest tax deduction possible? Find out how much money you can save right now for free at savewithconrad.com. You don't need perfect credit. Even scores in the 500s can be approved, and it's no cost out of pocket. But maybe best of all, we're licensed in more than 40 states. We can help more families than ever before. But how much can we save you? Find out right now for free with a quick quote from savewithconrad.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event.
Welcome to WHW Monday. Tony Schiavone and Conrad Thompson.
Jim Crockett for Starcade, 605 NWA, TV title, Cajun Omni, the Bunkhouse Stampede, Flair and Horseman, Garvin, Bogey, Magnum, Dusty, Express Tag Team, Turner, Bond, and Mid-South Joint World Championship Wrestling.
Talking about the great years of World Championship Wrestling, the NWA, and Jim Crockett Promotions.
Tony and Friends North they win, look, Schiavone's back again, world title split off, center stage, Bischoff, Disney, Hogan, and Nitro, New World Order, and The Crow, Thunder, Russo, Arquette Champ, Vinnie Mac, simulcast. Tony's back with Conrad, not your classy podcast. Watch along, try not to laugh. Lowest rules, cat back. This wasn't the initial plan. Tom Zigg's a good-looking man. Klondike Bill, make a chant. Tommy, you come over here.
What happened when? WHW Monday. And now, let's go to the ring. And here's your co-host. Hey, it's Conrad Thompson.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson, and you're listening to What Happened When? With the voice of your childhood, Tony Schiavone. Tony, what's going on, man? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Man, I'm fucking fired up. We had such a great time last week talking all things JCP in 1986. We're starting at the beginning, and boy, week one was fire. Was it not, Tony?
Some great stuff from week one, some great memories that watching that show brought back to me, and some not so much wrestling, although we did have a 2-segment match. But I think we kind of know as we look into the what is the best year ever for Jim Crockett Promotions, 1986, we realize that they're grooming Magnum to be the next world champion, one would assume, by what's going on. Mm-hmm. We're in the midst of the Rock and Roll Express, Midnight Express feud, which was one of the hottest, if not the hottest feud that year. We're in the midst of Dusty Rhodes against the Horsemen, which is another great feud. So, and of course the Road Warriors and the Russians. So a lot of great things are going on here as we're moving in here to the early part of 1986.
Yeah. As your man, used to say on TV, ooh, things are taking place. I'm pretty fired up about this, dude. It's week 2 of all things JCP. If you haven't already, fire up your WWE network, watch along with us, won't you? When you pull up your network, just click on In Ring, scroll down till you see WCW, scoot over until you see World Championship Wrestling. And this one went down on January 11th, 1986. So Tony, as you and I are talking a couple of days ago, was the 35th anniversary of this. God, you're old. Really, really old.
Yeah. Really old. And you'll get there one day, motherfucker.
Oh, not at this weight. I won't. All right, boys and girls. I think we've got a little help with our countdown today. Is that right?
That is right. You do have help with your countdown. Where could you guys be without me helping you with countdowns and various other things? And Okay, 3, 2, 1, play.
Track it.
You see, kicks Arn Anderson in the leg. I've told you about that boot time and time again. You won't do anything about it. If that had been Ric Flair wearing it, if it had been me or Tully Blanchard wearing it, what would you have done? Fines, suspensions. Hey, I'm not taking you home.
Oh my goodness, baby dolls out here.
You take me home or not. I'm out here to say, Arn Anderson, you are next.
Oh, is that a play? Just 1 minute. Wait a minute, Tony.
I made that my ringtone on my phone, by the way. So next time we're hanging out, somebody calls, no more Eastbound and Down from Jerry Reed. It's this.
World champion.
So don't be surprised if I'm a little slow to answer now. You're free to talk anytime here, Tony. Just
I was letting the music go, man.
Okay. Well, let's see what Crockett's saying here.
Tony, like the lady said, Arn Anderson is next. And we have Arn Anderson here on World Championship Wrestling. He is the new World's Television Champion, and we will have him wrestle his first match.
Well, like him or not, he won that tournament for the NWA World Television title just last weekend. He is a new World Television Champion. However, the other half of the Minnesota Wrecking Crew is Ole Anderson. And as reported last week, Ole Anderson is in serious business right now because he has undergone a very serious injury. And from what we heard, we're not so sure if Ole Anderson will ever come back or not.
That's correct. The injury is such that he might not ever wrestle again.
That's right. That's from
and so that
puts
puts that national tag team title up, because they have 30 days in which to defend it.
To defend the title, just like what happened to Dusty Rhodes when he was the World Television Champion. Now, today, our very first installment of Scouting Report with Bill Apter, an in-depth interview with one of your favorite wrestlers, so you'll want to stay tuned for that. That is here today on World Championship Wrestling, and then each and every week you will see Scouting Report with Bill Apter. And we also have a title match here today for the Mid-Atlantic Heavyweight title. The champion, Krusher Khrushchev, will defend against Sam Houston.
That's going to be a fantastic match.
That is
this young
exactly
man,
right.
He's on his way up.
Now, the World Heavyweight Champion, Nature Boy Ric Flair is with us. Dusty Rhodes with Baby Doll. Dusty, the National Heavyweight Champion. Magnum T.A. is here. The World Tag Team Champions are here. Let's bring in Ron Garvin. We talked about the World Heavyweight Champion Ric Flair. Of all the top contenders to his title, you got to say that Ron Garvin is right at or near the top of the list, and I know you're looking to get maybe one day that World Heavyweight title.
That's right, Tony. You know, on the way down here this morning, sitting in the plane, I was reading the paper. And it's funny, everybody has a goal in life, and that's what makes life so exciting and so worthwhile living, is to accomplish your goal. And in the paper, there was an article that says this corporation, their goal was to gross $27 million. And I said, well, it's a little out of reach for Ronnie Garvin, $27 million. Right now, it's out of reach for Ronnie Garvin, but I know exactly where to find $500,000 to start with in 1986. And $500,000, I'm talking about the belt that Ric Flair is wearing, the World's Heavyweight Championship belt. That's worth $500,000 a year. Now, that's my goal for 1986. And Ric Flair, you're the man. Now, you said on television to beat a man, you got to beat the man. Well, I think I'm the man for the job. You see, I think I've embarrassed you. Now, you witnessed the match I had with him on the Superstation here in front of millions of people. Now, you don't hear Ric Flair brag about this, because I think I give him a whooping. I think I got his number, and I think he's scared, and I think he wants to run. But, Ric Flair, I'm going to be here, 1986. Doesn't matter where it's at. If it's here, if it's in California, East Coast, West Coast. But Ric Flair, I'm here, and I'm after you.
Okay, let's go to the ring. The Russian team is in the ring.
So you see the Russian team, 2 of the 3 6-man champs here, Ivan and Nikita, but they're not wearing the belts. They're still carrying the trophy. Is that because the belts aren't made yet?
That's right.
Okay. So, watching that opening segment back, I wasn't really paying attention to your video, which, by the way, you can watch our video, on adfreeshows.com. I was instead watching you be very, very uncomfortable in 1986. It felt like you got a little lost and stumbled at the beginning.
Sure
and
did.
Unfortunately, Crockett was not there to help you dust off. I don't know what you were thinking at the time, but I've been in moments like that where I just want to get that segment done and fucking hit the reset button. Am I right?
Yeah. I think I had too much makeup on that day.
Dude, you look like little Annie Orphan, one of those little rag dolls that just put those little red blotches on there. It was like a Tammy Faye Baker deal. I don't know.
Yeah. Raggedy Ann. Right. I get you. I understand. But I can't, and then we were stumbling. We stumbled right through that. They never did go off perfect, but they never would say, got to do it again. Never would say it, you know?
And this is not live, by the way. This is live to tape in the morning.
Right. Live to tape. Absolutely. So whatever you did was there. If you stumbled through it, you stumbled through it. But I couldn't get over, again, how fucking phony my voice was. Just, God. Thank you very much, David Crockett. We've got a great program for you this week.
I'm Johnny Radio.
Yeah, baby. Wonder when I changed. Wonder when that stopped. I don't know.
Probably around the time you started Schiavone. You're like, I'm not putting on airs anymore. This is just me. Fuck it. Not a bad thing either.
Now listen to some of my baseball broadcasts from back then, back in the 80s, doing the same thing for baseball.
You were trying to, it's like in wrestling, right? Guys will say, well, he was playing wrestler. He wasn't being the character.
Yeah.
And so you were playing announcer. You weren't being the announcer.
Right. Very, very, God, very well said.
Hey, so let's talk about what you're doing here. As we mentioned, this is happening on the 11th. So you guys would have started your week on the 5th. You did a double shot that Sunday in Asheville, the Civic Center. The main event in front of 2,500 fans was Flair and Manny Fernandez. The same day you're in Charlotte, 10,200 fans would see Flair beat Dusty Rhodes by DQ. The next day on Monday, there's a shot in Iva, South Carolina. Am I saying that right? IVA?
Yeah.
Fayetteville, North Carolina, same day. It's a second show. This one with Flair and Dusty. That's on Monday now.
Yeah. Fayetteville was a bigger venue, obviously.
On Tuesday, you ran one show. It was the 7th. And, on last were Ricky and Robert. And of course there was a whole little situation where the Midnight Express got involved. It's a worldwide taping.
Right. Tuesday was worldwide tapings, basically.
The next day you're in Dorton Arena. That's on January 8th. On top again, it's Rock and Rolls and Midnights. Flair had the day off. On the 9th, Flair's back in Canton, Ohio, and he's going to take on Dusty Rhodes in the main event. The co-main is Ricky and Robert taking on Bobby and Dennis. And then on the 10th, so the day before this show, another double shot. This is all, by the way, from the history of WWE.com. Shout out to those guys for doing all the heavy lifting here. But you guys did Norfolk, Virginia at the Scope with Flair and Dusty on top. And Cincinnati, Ohio got the Rock and Roll Express taking on the Russians in a steel cage match. And it's also worth mentioning in Cincinnati, Ohio, Pistol Pez Whatley worked with a very young Al Snow here in 1986. Wow. How about that?
How about that?
So now after that, you got two crews coming back, one from Norfolk, Virginia, one from Cincinnati, Ohio, and they're all getting here for January 11th. So matinee show, as we said. You guys were recording at what time? Probably
9 a.m.
9 a.m. was the call time, or 9 a.m. is when tapes were rolling?
Usually 9 a.m. when the tape was rolling. I usually got in there about 7:30 or 8.
Wow.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm off by an hour, maybe 10 a.m., but it was morning. I can tell you that. So what we're leading up to here is the fact that, like, the Russians had worked Cincinnati, so they had to take the first flight in the morning.
Right.
And the Rock and Roll Express, Norfolk, you have to fly in from Norfolk too. So that was kind of tough living.
You, as typical, you were not honest with the fans and lied. You said right here at the open of the show, the world champion Ric Flair is here. He is not, in fact, going to appear on the program.
So I lied.
Well, you're a known liar. I mean, everybody in wrestling knows that.
No, not everybody in wrestling knows that. Not everybody in wrestling would agree with that because I'm the voice of your childhood.
No, I get that, but our dads lied to us too.
I'm a straight cold baby face behind the scenes.
Straight cold baby face.
Straight cold baby face.
That's a new t-shirt available now at boxofgimmicks.com. Let's track it here.
Krusher Khrushchev.
It's just a sample of what Nikita, my nephew, and Krusher Khrushchev just did on their recent tour to Asia, to Japan, defeating all these opponents in record time. Krusher, how long was the longest match against the Japanese?
It's just like these Americans around here, no longer than 5 minutes.
You hear that, Road Warriors? Rock and Roll Express? You better pay Rock and Roll. You see these Road Warriors on two different occasions. Yourself out here, American. You see what happened to them when we used the chain on both of them on two separate occasions. and put them down. You want some more of this, Road Warrior? That is fine. You come ahead. We welcome the opportunity. And you, Magnum T.A, United States Heavyweight Champion. You think you are big and you are strong. You're going to find out my nephew Nikita is a little stronger and a little better.
He's a Magnum T.A. How do you call? I hear he's a freak of rider. What is time, Magnum T.A? You come to your knees and meet Nikita Koloff. You see, Nikita in time going to take you, Tiger, and the Road Warrior. Nikita here, how you also have maybe little problem. What happened to you, also, Road Warrior?
The Russian team led by Ivan Koloff. When we come back.
You understand a goddamn word he said?
No, I only know that when he said Magnum T.A.'s name, he called it Maggot T.A. Maggot T.A.
Boy, these closed captioning people had a hard day's work that day. I mean, they gave up halfway through and it just said indistinct.
Yeah.
Tully Blanchard here. And Lord, as much as I love Tully, he should have probably just left these robes at home.
You know who he gave that robe to? Teddy Long.
Really?
That was Teddy grabbing that robe.
Oh, I thought you meant in real life. I knew he was ringside. I didn't know if he gave it to him in real life. And I was like, why would he do that?
I was just thinking.
Elizabeth.
Odd that you would think there's a Hall of Famer taking the robes back, isn't it? Something?
Everybody has to start somewhere.
Of course. I started with Klondike Bill setting up the ring. First job in wrestling. So there. Everybody's got to start somewhere.
A little manual labor. Hey,
that's what it is.
I started podcasting with Ric Flair. You know, we've all got war stories.
Oh God.
What do you mean you're at Outback? It's lunchtime. We're supposed to be recording.
Oh my God. He was, and his
Rick, Bahama Breeze doesn't have good Wi-Fi. Can you go home?
Some people get it and some people don't when it comes to podcasting. You know that for a fact.
Yeah.
You know that better than anybody else. Oh my God.
I'll never forget.
You know that better than I do. Cause you've podcasted with, think of your podcasting career, Conrad.
Well, Ric Flair.
Yep.
Bruce Pritchard.
Yep.
Tony Schiavone.
Mm-hmm.
Eric Bischoff.
Yep.
Jim Ross.
Yep.
Arn Anderson.
Yep.
And another one announced this month.
Going to be announced this month?
Yes, sir.
So you're going to have yet another day of the week to stay away from Megan?
You got it.
Best of luck to you, buddy.
Now, here's the deal. I just had to get this show up and going. I'm about to tag in Cassio.
Oh, really? With me?
Oh yeah. I'm out of here.
Yeah. Can I tell you 3 words on that?
You lie.
Bull fucking shit.
What does that mean?
What do you think that means? You ain't going anywhere, fucker.
You don't like Cassio?
I like Cassio a lot, but you ain't going anywhere. You tagging Cassio, I'll come to your house and fucking find you.
I'd be glad.
And that'll be a good thing video wise to put on ad-free shows.
You know what? Megan and I were thinking about renewing our vows in my backyard. I'm going to tell you that morning. Get you to my wedding one way or another. God damn it. Where's Jobber Schiavone? I always send him to these things.
No longer. So yeah, motherfucker, bull fucking shit.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine if I tried to pull that shit with Jim Ross? Can you imagine?
I don't think JR would be too kind to Cassio Kid.
I don't think he'd be too kind to me. In fact, he'd probably start low key referencing it during Dynamite. Boy, I hadn't seen somebody quit and be such an act of cowardice since Conrad Thompson quit the podcast.
He'd say that in a minute. He'd get on to you in a minute.
Oh my God.
Oh God. All right. This is after Arn Anderson won the television championship.
That's right.
Now the week before he was just one half of the national tag team champs, right?
No, he was TV champ then too.
I thought he won it. No, he wasn't.
Okay.
Didn't he win it? Look on your
I mean, I just told you when it happened, but you don't want to listen, you know?
Okay. When did it happen?
January 4th in Greensboro.
Yeah. That night after the show.
Oh yeah. I guess you're right.
Yeah.
That's right.
We
talked
taped in the morning that night he won it.
Yeah.
See?
Well, we said that last week. You know how many podcasts I've done since then, Tony? Fuck you.
Yeah. Oh, it ain't fuck me.
It's fuck you. Long before it'll be fuck me, it'll be fuck you. Doop. By the way, when Ronnie Garvin was cutting his promo, I was like, man, he has a little hint of Pat Patterson to me in his delivery and all that. And then I was like, duh, he's fucking from Montreal.
Sure. Slingshot, suplex. Tully Blanchard is your winner.
Hey, by the way, is that one of the more difficult finishing maneuvers to pull off?
I would think so. It was back then. It would be now. We'll be right back with more wrestling action. All right.
Who's got? Oh, here we go. Let's track it. Look at those belts.
Is congratulations. You are the world television champion. You won the tournament. You're also one half of the national tag team champions. However, you do realize, though, that you have 30 days to defend that national tag team title belt. I know you want to talk about this first, but keep that in mind.
First things first, for once in your life, I'm glad you finally called a spade and admitted that I am, and I know it's making you sick, David Crockett, the fact that I am the world television champion. I am half of the national tag team champions. There is some speculation running around, however, that an injury to Ole Anderson at the hands of Dusty Rhodes, that he won't be back in time to defend these tag titles.
The information that we've received that he may never return to wrestling.
Who you think's got the proper information? I talk to him on the phone every day. How long you known Ole Anderson? He will be back for the 30-day period. We'll defend these titles and we'll hang on to them all we want to. Okay. Now then, point number 2. Today starts the mark of a new era. There's going to be a TV champion get in that ring every show, every week, and defend that title. The first title defense is today, and I'm going to show you what a television champion is. I'm not going to be like Dusty Rhodes and sit back here in the wings and come out here and tell people what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it, and that's all starts today, Tony Schiavone. It has been your pleasure, and just remember one thing. Ric Flair, Tully Blanchard, Ole, you're at home watching. We are the 4 horsemen, period. And what it boils down to, you're either a world champion or you're not. That's that. It's been your pleasure.
Arnett.
That's that. It's been your pleasure.
That's it, buddy. Oh my God. Art Pritts.
You know Art?
Don't know Art.
Well, you're not going to have to worry about learning much about him.
Can I vent here a little bit?
Please do.
There's a serious side to this vent, and I'm going to vent so I can let it go.
I'm ready.
AEW has done a lot of things for Brody Lee's family.
Yep.
Wife, and especially children.
Yep.
And there have been some people online to criticize that.
Fuck them.
No, they can go fuck themselves. You are a piece of shit if you think that. A piece of shit. I hope they take your social media, not only destroy it, but set it on fire and cram it up your ass. And by the way, if you were on fire, I wouldn't piss on you to put you out. You bunch of no good, nothing happening motherfuckers. Your opinion means fuck all. Fuck you, fuck your family, fuck your brothers, fuck your sisters. If you're married, fuck her and fuck your kids. Fuck you. Brody Lee will be a bigger man than you will ever be. And his family will be a much nicer family you ever be. Fuck you. I'm tired of hearing it. And I will go on WHW's Facebook page and I will block all you motherfuckers and throw you in the fucking shitter. I feel better. No, I don't feel better.
Why are you getting on social media, Tony? Why are you doing that?
Yeah, I just happened to see something thinking, Jesus Christ.
You've told us you were done with social media, and yet here you are.
Yeah, well, I go on my Facebook page, which is my Facebook page only, to check in with the people that I grew up with and their families. But then for some reason, either Silver or Hancock tied in WHW's Facebook page with mine, and I happened to click on something, and I saw some remarks, and I went, holy shit.
You got to stop doing that.
Yeah, I need to. Worst people in the world. Worst people in the world. Dad used to tell me when I was younger and I was getting ready to get my driver's license, he said, you'll get your driver's license. Don't worry. The stupidest people in the world have their driver's license, so you'll have no problem. All the dumbest people in the world are online. And look at this. The Barbarian. Wait a minute. Is that his paint or is he bleeding here? On his hand. I guess that was his paint. I'm not so sure. Yeah, like Paul's stomp is going to hurt this guy. Oh, it's time for your dream match, Conrad.
Oh, yeah. You want to hear this promo again? Here we go.
Would be your dream match. Now, let me say right here, please put your dream match selection or selections on a postcard.
We have, Tony, right now we have to take postcards only because we have over 20,000
Wait,
votes. That's 20,000 already. So get them in.
Postcards only will be accepted. Right to us.
Postcards only. Listen to y'all.
They're easier to throw away. Oh, man. Fucking animal. Tommy Young coming up backstage after you. Oh, buddy, we're going right to another match. How about that?
Right into another one.
That's kind of unusual. Usually we had match, interview, match, interview, 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 match.
So this is Magnum T.A. and Thunderfoot. We've seen Thunderfoot. We saw him last week too. Last week he was in red. This week he's in black. What were some of your favorite Thunderfoot matches?
This is one of my favorites because it's Thunderfoot was Joel Deaton, who was actually a pretty damn good, pretty good hand, as we say.
Joel Deaton, of course, 63 years old now, out of Tyler, Texas.
Yeah, Joel's a pretty good guy.
He even wrestled over in All Japan Pro Wrestling.
How about that?
Central States, Georgia. He was all over the place.
Yeah. And when you had the Thunderfoot gimmick, you could probably get paid twice if you wanted to. Wrestle as Thunderfoot and then wrestle as Joel Deaton.
Why not?
Of course, you could ask for 2 payoffs. You weren't going to get them.
Especially not if you work for Goggle.
Yeah. You could tell the promoter, hey, I worked twice tonight, and you still weren't going to get any money for working more money for working twice. That's kind of the way it was. That's Joel. There's no question about it. Look how Magnum, man, he knew how to just flex. He had one of the things about Magnum that there were a lot of things about Magnum. He had great presence and he knew how to face the camera. When he did his interviews, he always stared right. And he and I talked about this many times. And he was talking to me about the promos that are done today. He said, and you know how the WWE has promos where they don't look at the camera.
Right.
And he said, that's wrong. He said, you have to look into the camera, look right through that camera and look into the eyes of the person watching your television show and talk to them and bring them into you and bring them into your angle. And he had a great awareness about that. I think that was one of the characteristics about Magnum. Hey, he was ruggedly handsome, good looks, could work. But I just like the presence that he had on, and see how he did that, man. He knows exactly where the hard cameras are. He's checking the monitors out. He just knew about it, man. He knew it, man. He knew about TV. Probably a low-key big hog too, wouldn't you think?
Oh, I don't know if he was even on Patreon,
Oh, okay.
What were you thinking?
I don't know. It could be. I mean, we have all these people on Patreon that we know and we talk to, and we have doing our bonus podcast for us at the end of the month.
Sure.
But they could be some pseudonyms, right?
Sure. Can you spell pseudonym?
Yeah. Sudonym. I
don't think that's right.
I don't think it is either. And why do I have to spell on this fucking podcast?
Just wanted to prove that you couldn't.
You did a great job of that.
I thought you were trying to spell, S-U-C-K something. I was like, wait a minute, he didn't finish that the right way.
No,
And then I was like, no, he really took a stab at that, and it didn't work. Magnum T.A. What a year for him. 86 was supposed to be, and didn't quite work out the way we hoped. We're going to see Magnum later on, sitting down with Bill Apter. It's a little weird that he's in the ring and he's going to be on set with Apter. Oh, that's it. Belly to belly. What do you think of that as a finish?
I loved it. I did. I thought it was very effective, and nobody else used it. They made sure no one else used it, like the figure four, and was one of those great moves that was just, hey, I liked everything Magnum did.
Right.
And a great conversationalist, buddy. Great conversationalist. He and I had long, long talks about the business back in the day. Hey, buddy. Here he comes. Shaska Whatley.
And how about George South looking as only he can look?
Yes, sir, man.
Is he one of the great underrated performers of all time?
No, yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot of people who are in the wrestling business today that credit George South with their, well, and I guess another one would be the Hardy Boys, right? Didn't George have something to do with the Hardy Boys in North Carolina back in the day?
It wouldn't surprise me. It feels like if you're a wrestler in North Carolina, you worked with him.
I know we saw earlier the Italian Stallion. He had something to do with the Hardy Boys, but basically the only thing he did for the Hardy Boys is fleece them of money.
Right.
But here's interesting. We had a week ago on this show, and this is week 2 of a World Championship Wrestling on TBS 1986. We were full of interviews, and now we've had 2 matches back to back without interviews. We really scaled it back, didn't we? Maybe it was because this Bill Apter bullshit. I mean, this Bill Apter thing that we did took up a lot of time. I'm not so sure. I like Pez, man.
He was your man.
Yeah, Pez, a good guy. And Tiger Conway Jr. and Pez, they were a pretty good team together, I thought. I like both of them a lot. The angle, and I don't know if we're going to see the angle here. Maybe they'll show it here. I don't know if it happened in 86. Probably did. Maybe happened in 87. He did an interview with Jimmy Valiant, and Jimmy Valiant he and Jimmy were teaming, and Jimmy said, "This is the greatest black athlete in the world today." He said that, and Pez got mad at him for calling him a black athlete and beat him up, and he became Shaska Whatley. Shaska, which was a poor way to say Shaka. Because I think at that time there was a movie out called Shaka the Zulu King, something like that. And so Pez got himself Shaska. And he wore the hat. And it was funny that, not funny, but it was, even back then, Valiant couldn't use a racial slang. So he used the word black, which really is not offensive, still isn't. And they had Pistol take offense to it in an interview, and that's where he turned heel on Jimmy Valiant. But Pez was good. Pez was a good athlete, man. He could do a lot of things. And George selling for him too, buddy. Big old headbutt. Kaboom. Boy, you got Randy Anderson doing some, for some reason, I thought we rotated referees. Maybe we had one referee the entire show. I can't remember now, but
let's pay attention to that and see what we can see here.
Yeah. For some reason, I thought maybe that now, of course, Randy Anderson is based out of Rome, Georgia. So he's easy to bring in. They don't have to fly him in like Tommy Young or.
They wouldn't have flown Tommy Young in.
What?
Why would they have flown Tommy Young in?
If they wanted him to work Columbus or something like that night or something like that. They flew Tommy. Look, if you're going to be a referee, well, maybe not. I don't know. I was saying if you're going to be a referee, because they worked in Canton on Thursday and Cincinnati on Friday. So I don't know if they used referees up there or not. They probably used, a lot of times here they use Scrappy McGowan, who was based out of Atlanta. They used Pee Wee, who was based out of Rome. And Tommy, of course, based out of Charlotte. We had Sonny Fargo, who was based out of Charlotte, I guess. I'm trying to think of who else we had as referees back then. But you would fly referees around. As a matter of fact, I took it's a funny ass trip. When I was one of those ring announcing ventures, I went out and we worked the Forum in LA. It was me and Dutch Mantell, Tommy Young, and Bobby Jaggers in the same car riding around. That was a lot of fun. You talking about browbeating? I know you're probably the world's greatest browbeater.
Am I?
One of the world. Yeah, you probably if there was ever a browbeating championship on, like, let's say, I don't know, like ABC TV,
right?
I would think you'd win it almost every year. But Dutch Mantell was a great one too, and he would browbeat Bobby Jaggers so much, and Bobby just didn't pay attention, like Butch wasn't even talking. It was some funny shit, man. So, but anyway, that's a long way to say we did fly announcers around. And of course, you would have to use, a lot of places you would have to use referees that were sanctioned by the athletic commission. And you have to use, like, go to the towns, you would have to use an athletic commission referee in some of your matches.
All right, here he is.
Gosh.
Let's track it.
Go.
Good to see you once again.
Thank you very much, Tony, baby. Woo, what a battle out there. Let me tell you what, baby. Jim Crockett Promotions and the NWA, they come all the way live in 85. And let me tell you what else, baby. We gonna be getting down in 86. You can bet your bricks. And another thing, baby, if everybody watching around the whole world, Dusty Rhodes, he done broke one of the 4 horsemen's legs. Now everybody upset. Well, let me tell you something, baby. World heavyweight champion, you better look out, because he ain't through and the hunt is still on. Check it out, baby. I'll be out there, be in the middle of this in 86. Woo, so proud to be here. Yeah, take care of business, y'all.
All right, we're coming right back. Don't go away.
I don't like that beat as much.
Not only the best, have a little promo there.
Yeah, it was. I like when he said live at 85. I like when people, oh, here we go.
Here we
Business
go.
About to pick up.
Baby doll came out. She said, Arn Anderson, you're next. After what happened to Ole, I think all the fans across the country know exactly what she meant.
Well, it's been a couple weeks now with Baby Doll. My mama wrote me from Houston and said, this is the woman that you call a Jezebel on nationwide TV one time. I said, Mama, Jezebels come in different shapes and forms. There are bad Jezebels and there are good Jezebels. And Baby Doll is a good Jezebel. But let me tell you what just happened. Ric Flair is living proof that most white people ain't got no ribbon. Brother, I've never seen anything in my life. When he be snapping his fingers and the music be going some other place, he is living proof that white people ain't got no ribbon. Simple as that. Except the American dream. Now then, Arn Anderson, Baby Doll told you, you're next. I want you to write it down in your book. You understand it. In a steel cage, I'm going to break your bones. Might be your legs, might be your arms, might be anything. And there's one thing that 780 wrestlers around this world want, and that's the world's heavyweight title. Ric Flair, you want it. That's why I want it, and that's what it's all about. Baby Doll has gained a tremendous amount of notoriety, if you will, over the past. And she has got her first award. Baby Doll, show this award here, honey. Look at this. Get a close-up. Baby Doll's first award.
A friend of mine, Rich Lewis. I want to thank him for the award. So, quite an honor from you, Rich. Thank you.
That's it. And Rich, and Rich said in the letter, Dusty Rhodes, I wish I was big enough to challenge you for a match so I could win Baby Doll from you. It ain't gonna happen, baby.
The national heavyweight champion, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, with Baby Doll go to the ring.
All right. We got to talk about what we just saw.
Okay.
We see the RnR Express here defending the tag straps against Randy Mulkey and his partner. But no, it's not Mulkey Mania. It's not both of them. It's Mr. Deaton.
Yeah, Vernon.
Chat me up. A lot of Deatons on this show.
Right.
It's cute. I won't argue that. But showing a little kid's letter like that on TV, does that not feel a little small time?
Yeah.
Compared to Vince. I mean,
yeah. You know, we also did, and I think we did it in 85. I don't think we did it in 86, but we also sent out happy anniversary announcements on the show.
Which, don't get me wrong, was a staple once upon a time of local radio. And it's how you kept people engaged and listening, and you felt a connection. You know, these days on social media, everybody's like, oh, it's about your engagement. Well, that's what you're looking for. And I get it. But at the same time, unless the kid, and I'm not saying this to be dismissive, but unless the kid was like a Special Olympian or had some sort of debilitating disease, you would not see Vince like shout the kid out on TV.
No, you wouldn't.
Here's the other thing I want to ask about that.
But let me ask you this question before you go into that.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that make us a little bit more endearing?
No, I'm not arguing that you guys were trying to not be big time, fancy separatist. You wanted to appeal to the everyman, and you understood who your audience was. And I think that's, you know, Vince wanted to present larger than life, look, but don't touch. You're doing studio wrestling with no guardrails. This is a different deal.
Yeah.
You know, Vince is looking for, you know, Budweiser sponsors. You're hoping to nail Mellow Yellow. Anyway, again, not a bad thing, but some of this whole, well, you know, Bischoff coming in and saying, oh, it was Southern wrestling. It was.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no doubt about it.
What was wrong with that?
Nothing, because it worked for that audience. And by the way, hardcore ECW fans know exactly what I'm talking about. Some of the stuff they presented to the ECW arena wouldn't have worked in Texas or California or wherever, but it worked in Philly.
Sure.
Anyway, can I ask a question where I'm not an asshole and you not be super hot at me? And I'm asking, and you're going to be in an uncomfortable spot where you have to answer.
Oh boy.
If I'm going to get in trouble here, and I'm asking, will you get in trouble with me?
No.
Will you be honest with me or will you lie?
I don't know. It depends on how much shit's going to be thrown on me because of this.
In your opinion, was the whole Baby Doll Perfect 10 thing a rib?
No, I never got that.
I've had multiple people tell me they thought the whole Perfect 10 Baby Doll thing was a rib.
No.
Okay.
No, I thought that she was the Perfect 10 because, I mean, she was a big girl, right?
Right. That's where I'm getting to. She used to wrestle as, I believe, Andrea the Giant.
Sure. So I thought she was called the Perfect 10 because she was beautiful. She was photogenic. Dusty thought she was absolutely stunning on camera, and she was tough, and she could wrestle if she needed to. And that's why I think that's what I always thought was why they called her the Perfect 10, because she could do all that.
Okay. I'm with you on that. I'm thinking about it in terms of Bo Derek, the 1979 movie 10. She was supposed to be the picture of what every guy, you know, as crude and lame and barbaric as it is. Oh man, she's a 8, she's a 9, it's so fucking shitty.
Right.
Like, guys don't really do that in real life, or I hope they don't anymore. But anyway, it was like, dude, I get that she's a big character on the show, but is this almost like a rib? Because
no,
don't get me wrong, very attractive lady, but to your point, she's as tall as Dusty is. This is,
yeah.
And when you know her background, that she was someone who could do a promo and could wrestle and blah, blah, blah. The way you explained it made total sense to me. But I've had so many people over the years say, oh, that was just a rib on her or a rib on Dusty or a rib on whatever. I'm like, I don't get how that would be a rib. And they're like, well, she didn't look like Bo Derek. I'm like, I don't think she was supposed to, but I didn't quite make the correlation that you made. But I just know anytime we're talking about, you know, the way guys would rate girls or whatever, we're on a slippery slope.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to be clear that, by the way, you know me, I'm into tall blondes. So Roll Tide, and she's a great lady in real life. I just didn't get where all the rumor and innuendo about that came from, but you made it perfectly clear.
Yeah. And that's what I always thought when I was working it. And when I was there with them, I thought that was the reason they called her the Perfect 10. I also thought that maybe because Tully was a heel, calling her a 10, if you always go around as say, oh, my wife or my girlfriend's the Perfect 10, regardless of how she looks to you, that probably would piss off a lot of women to call her that.
Right.
So maybe that was in it as well. But I always thought she was Perfect 10 because she could do a lot of things. That was just my thought. Haven't talked to her in a number of years, but Nicola and I were friends. You know, as you probably know, and I've always been very friendly with female talent. Friend of theirs, still today am. So I was back then. You looking for a line there?
I am. What do you think of RnR Express Baby Blue look here? I kind of dig it. They should have wore this more often.
Yeah. You know what? One thing I wanted to bring up last week was the bandanas they wore around their wrists and around their waist and everything. There's a double drop kick, and around their knees, there, whatever. They look at Jesus. They sold those RnR Express bandanas with their autograph on them, you know, already printed autograph. And we've got a couple of those at home that I've put in this box of stuff to give to you. Oh boy.
I was just at your house. Why didn't I get that?
I don't know. I forgot to give it to you.
Track it.
The order of business was to set a warning for everybody in the chain of command, the domino effect, right down to the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. And I said the first in line was Jimmy Valiant. We're not going to waste any time because in 86 we
Let's show it, JJ. Let's show it.
Let's take a look at what we're talking about when we take care of business.
Okay, let's take a look at what Tully Blanchard Enterprises is talking about.
Here you see Jimmy Valiant with that patented sleeper hold, JJ.
Chokehold.
Well, whatever. He's got Black Bart in a bad way. Black Bart needs a little bit of help. And I tell you what, when you're giving messages to Dusty Rhodes, Magnum T.A., you give them right. And this is exactly the way you give a message. And here I come right there. And I'm going to tell you what, in my street clothes, $500 suit, $700 on-street shoes right there, gold jewelry, everything, Valiant into the post, and watch this, right on his head. Valiant's career is probably over right now. If he's in the hospital looking at this, you think about it. Dusty Rhodes, you think about it. Magnum T.A., you think about it. Because I tell you what, when I give a message, the message is given right. And you just saw it. Now you people count on it. You know, JJ and I went out and did a little celebrating last night. And I tell you what, I forgot to shave, baby. I was a little late for the flight. But you know, Flair was there too. And when Flair and Tully Blanchard Enterprises get together, you know the party time is on all night long. Jimmy Valiant, your history. Dusty Rhodes, Magnum T.A., you think about it. Because I tell you what, there's going to be a day when I walk out here with that national title on one shoulder and a U.S. title on the other. And I tell you what, that's the bottom line.
There's a pile driver on the floor. Tully.
I'll tell you what.
Pile driver on the floor. What the hell?
By the way, that pile driver on the floor was a big deal, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And it happened in Canton, Ohio on January 9th.
What, that right there?
I think what we just saw was from there.
No, that was from Spartanburg, South Carolina.
Well, God damn it. I'm just telling you, that's what the fucking history of WWE.com says.
Guess what? The history, you know what?
They might be wrong occasionally.
Exactly right. And they may be, the WWE's been known to have idiot writers, haven't they?
No, this isn't them. This is independent super fans like me who are working their ass off. WWE don't give a fuck.
And the reason I know that was Canton. The reason I know that was, I could just tell the building and you could see the TV lights were there. It was one of our TV tapings.
Mm.
So I just recognized the building, and super fan out there may have done the same thing in Canton, right?
Well, yeah. Let me just mention the history of WWE.com is where I'm getting all of these live event results. And I don't know that you've ever been there, but I think you should go because they show every result from Crockett from 83 to 2001. They've got all the other programs too. Like you can look up Ring of Honor, TNA, ECW, of course, WWE, Smoky Mountain. But dude, you want to talk about a resource? If you're just interested in saying, hey, what was happening in the business, especially when we're doing week to week like this, I would recommend everybody listening to this, go to the history of WWE.com. And there's even a / JCP86.htm if you can't figure it out. But holy shit, dude. Valuable resource.
Good stuff. Absolutely. Good stuff.
That was me trying to put him over since you shit on him.
I didn't shit on him. I told you what I saw.
By the way, this guy selling right here, he looks like he has to, like, I mean, seriously, does he look like a vapor or a jeweler or whatever? You know, those people who huff circuit boards. Like this guy was one of the first people who had one. He's probably got like, oh, bro, this is maple syrup flavored. Man, have you tried the bacon one? Oh, Connie, I know what you're into. How about the cotton candy vape? Man, you get this with some of that fucking Mountain Dew, that Code Red Mountain Dew. That fucking punch missed by a mile.
Don't vape, please.
Oh
Don't.
God. Huffing circuit boards. I like that pinning combination too. Look at that. I'm going to put my balls in your face. I'm going to teabag the shit out of you and then slap you in the face. I think I'd rather Rick Steiner dump me on my head than Ron Garvin put his balls in my face. And
here's the miss.
No.
Oh, they stopped it.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Here comes a terrible promo.
Ricky Morton, Robert Gibson, Rock and Roll Express.
You know, Tony, being the NWA World Tag Team Champions, we defend these titles all over the world every night against top contenders. And as you can see, we still are the NWA Tag Team Champions. That means we're on the top of the list. We're the #1 tag team in professional wrestling. Right. So Jimmy Cornette, what you did to brother here was uncalled for. Your message strode up. People might not have saw it right now, Tony, but they will. The message brother strode up here. You see brother, he's still standing there, Tony, because he's got more guts in his little finger than Jimmy Cornette and the Midnight Express have got in their whole entire stinking body. So Jimmy Cornette, what I'm trying to tell you is you jumped up the wrong tree, baby. You barked up the wrong tree. So Jimmy Cornette, every dog has got his day. Jimmy Cornette's just right around the corner.
All right. Message to Jim Cornette and the Midnight Express. We're coming right back.
Well, as great as they were in the ring, they weren't that great on the stick. That was not a bad promo though. I was ready for it to be really bad and it was not.
Yeah. Ricky was a better promoter than Robert was. I mean, that was well known. Now, speaking of good promos, ready?
I'm ready. Here we go. Jimmy Cornette.
And you know, Jim Cornette, Robert Gibson.
You got to pardon me today, Tony. I'm laughing so hard I can't hardly talk.
Robert Gibson's really upset.
Robert Gibson's upset. Well, big deal. Do you think I care about that? What's the matter with Ricky? Ricky, you didn't talk. Has the cat got your tongue, Ricky Morton? What's the matter? Hey, you got a little piece of tape. I want to see it. This is the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. It's better than Ozzie and Harriet. It's better than Leave It to Beaver. Look at this right now. The Rock and Roll Express, once again, an illegal tactic. The double drop kick, totally illegal. So what happened? The Midnight Express and myself went down to the ring to inform the referee that the Rock and Roll Express had cheated. And just like I said would happen, they attacked us from behind, so we had to do something about it. Now, Rock and Roll Express, I warned you a long time ago, I don't like competition. I don't like people getting in the way of what the Midnight Express wants, and most of all, what I want. You see the result of it now. Ricky Morton down on the floor. Now we go back for Robert Gibson. I had warned him that we would take care of him one way or another. Not only would we win the belts, but we would get rid of the competition by putting out of professional wrestling any way, shape, or form that I saw fit. And since the Midnight Express, they are well rewarded for everything they do for me. I thought up something just riding down the road in the car one day I thought might be appropriate, because Ricky Morton's always talking big and bad and tough. I figure, let's see how big and how bad that he can talk when he's got a busted up throat, when he can't move, when he can't get up off the mat, and when he's got blood coming out of his mouth, as you'll see shortly, because that throat right there will probably never be the same again. I'm surprised he's still walking around, but the only thing that does is give me an opportunity to think of something else to do to that stinking little slimy punk. Because like I've said before, Rock and Roll Express, I hate your guts, but I'll give you this. You're the only competition that we've got in professional wrestling, and that means that you've got to be put out of the way, and I don't care what method or what manner has to be taken to do it. All of Ricky's friends, they're so concerned, they're coming around to see if he's okay. Does he look okay to you, Tony?
No, not at all.
This is the greatest thing that I have ever done in my entire life. The Midnight Express, the perfect team to do something like that because it required split-second timing. A lot of thought went into that. I wish my mother could see it. I wish my grandmother. You know what I'd say to my grandmother if she was here right now?
No, what's that?
I'd say, what are you doing here, Granny? You've been dead for 9 years. And Ricky Morton, you're going to fit in the same caliber real soon. Because what do you want?
Jim, listen now. You know, you come out here a lot and you say many things. Some things we're amused by. But what I just saw on TV was one of the sickest things I've ever seen in my life.
Tony, That just breaks my heart. That really does. Because let me tell you something, I don't give a tinker's twiddle what you think. I don't give a tinker's twiddle what you idiots out there think. And most of all, I don't give a tinker's twiddle what the Rock and Roll Express thinks. The only thing the Rock and Roll Express have to think is that the Midnight Express have hurt them once, the Midnight Express are going to hurt them again, and the Midnight Express, I promise you, ladies and gentlemen, are going to be your next World Tag Team Champions. Ladies and gentlemen, the rightful Tag Team Champions of the world, Loverboy Dennis and Beautiful Bobby, the Midnight Express.
Hell of a promo no matter what.
Yeah, and he had that joke about his grandmother.
Oh, dude. By the way, he's dressed like a Christmas tree with the green and red. How about that? But you saw the joke coming?
I saw the joke coming. Also, there's something in this interview that I wanted to bring up because it very rarely would I say something to one of the wrestlers. I would just say, here are Dusty Rhodes and Baby Doll. But Jim Cornette many times would tell me, and they would let him do his own thing. He would tell me, he said, I want you to really get on me about that. I want you to say something near the end of the interview. So this was always kind of planned. I would never say this on my own.
Right.
I would always be prompted what to say. And normally Jim Cornette would tell me to say something like that. So that brought back memories of Cornette says, I got this interview, so I want you to really say something about the footage we're going to show and really get on me about it. And so I did, and that's how it would happen. But, you know, I would never go into business for my own self as an announcer. David Crockett would because he owned the company, but not me.
So the joke, I had never heard that before. You know, I wish my mama could have seen it. I wish my granny would have been here to seen it. You know what I'd say to my granny if she was here? I'd say, Granny, what the hell are you doing here? You've been dead for 9 years. You had heard that joke before?
I know. I just, when he was, I had heard it from Jim Cornette. Okay. Many times. And when we're listening to it right now, I said, here we go. It's coming. So
I like it.
Yeah. I like it too. Hey, my dog's arrived.
Hey, there's Kevin Sullivan doing a little run in.
What's up, buddy? Come on over here, big boy.
He sneezed at me.
Hey, I want to mention as we're watching the Midnight Express make short work here of these fellas, what you got coming up later this same day. You would be in Charleston, West Virginia and Columbus, Georgia, 2 shows. Mm-hmm. The next day on the 12th, you'd have 6,000 people in Cleveland. Flair would be working with Dusty Rhodes, but the match that went on last was Magnum T.A. and Tully Blanchard. Oh, that's not a pin. How about it? I thought for sure that was
right.
On the 13th, you're in, Greenwood, South Carolina at the Civic Center. It's a worldwide taping. And you know the deal there, lots of enhancement matches and whatnot. Memorial Auditorium, the 14th, the next day, 5,600 fans. Dusty and Flair go to a no contest on top. Second from the top is the Rock and Roll Express versus the Midnights. Here's the big one though. The next day, or 2 days later rather, January 16th. So what would that have been? That would have been Thursday night.
Okay.
You're in Winnipeg, Manitoba with the AWA.
Whoa.
I bring this up because it's Flair versus Bockwinkel. That's a pretty cool deal. Now at the time, Bockwinkel's not the AWA world champ. Stan Hansen is. Stan's working with Rick Martel, but Flair in the AWA wrestling Bockwinkel. That's kind of cool here.
Oh yeah. You know, I remember somewhere, maybe I don't know if it was a part of Jim Crockett Promotions or it was part of the old WWF or AWA. I remember a mega card where they had all 3 world champions defended in one night. Oh, here comes Bill Apter.
Let's track it.
And now here's your host, senior editor of Pro Wrestling Illustrated, Bill Apter.
Welcome to another edition of Pro Wrestling Illustrated Scouting Reports. I'm your host, Senior Editor Bill Apter. First of all, welcome to our new time spot. And secondly, thank you for all those thousands upon thousands of letters we've received in our editorial offices in Rockville Center, New York. Last week's show with Magnum T.A. got such a great response, we've asked the U.S. champ, Magnum T.A., to be with us again this week. Magnum, welcome.
Bill, pleasure to be here.
Magnum, 1985 was a darn good year for you. 1986, I'm sure, looks really rosy to you, I would assume. What's 86 have in store for you? Future plans?
Well, 86 will be a continuation of the quest that I started in 1985, which was for the World's Heavyweight Championship held by Ric Flair.
Right.
We had many long, drawn-out battles, you might say, and they never really ended in any clear-cut conclusion, anything that I was happy with anyway. And I feel like maybe there's just a few keys to the puzzle left, maybe a few pieces that I haven't quite put together yet, but I feel like in 1986 I'll be able to put those pieces in place and then hopefully come up with a winning combination.
So that could do it. Also, your United States Heavyweight Championship, several contenders looking to go after Magnum T.A. Now, one of those top contenders, Arn Anderson, recently won the World Television Tournament, and I'd like to let everyone take a look at right now that World TV Tournament.
So it's a little package here showing clips of the tournament where Arn Anderson won the TV title. Of course, in the main event, or the finals rather, of that tournament, it's going to be Wahoo and Arn. I kind of like this, ESPN style sit down interview. It has a feel like a legitimate sport, doesn't it?
Oh yeah. It was a night. We put some money into that set. That set was in Charlotte, in backstage at the Crockett,
on Barbarian
offices. Yeah.
No, check out too when they come back. I like the letters on the wall that say TBS and Superstation. I told Megan when I watched this earlier that I wanted that somewhere in the house, and she laughed. So that means it's definitely not happening. But there was a wood sign between y'all that says JCP Sports, and I love that, and I hope that we can find it one day. But they turn it into, just for the sake of the video here, a TV. And so when we come back, the guys are going to be looking at this plank of wood that at the time they've superimposed like TV. Look at them looking at it, and that's just wood. Let's track it.
Championship. Arn Anderson, also a top contender for the United States Heavyweight Championship. Let's look at Arn Anderson. He's gotten quite a bit more hot-headed ever since Ole Anderson entered his life again.
Well, I feel like that's an association when you're talking about family members. Certainly, Ole Anderson's track record speaks for itself. So the influence that he's had over Arn definitely can't be a positive one as far as a sportsman-like attitude, because these men have on many occasions said that they go out there to hurt people. That's exactly their motto, their ring strategy. So Arn Anderson has carried that strategy over in his one-on-one wrestling. It's been pretty successful for him because now he is a world television champion.
Yeah, so
in fact, it has to be acknowledged. So Arn Anderson definitely has to be one of the #1 contenders that I'm going to have to deal with and defend the United States Heavyweight Championship.
Okay, now probably the one that most people would say is the most controversial of your challengers, Tully Blanchard, the man who you took the title from in that I Quit match.
I don't feel like Tully Blanchard and I, the issue there will ever be solved. As long as the two of us are putting on wrestling boots and entering a wrestling ring, there's always going to be a conflict because neither one of us is going to back down. He's a very tenacious, competitive athlete. He's got a definite opinion about the way he should do things. Right. He's not going to change his mind. I'm not going to change mine. But the fact of the matter is he was the one that lost the championship to me. He's going to have to come make the challenge to me now because there's other people out there besides Tully. I recognize his credentials in challenging me for this, but I'm not going to totally let myself be obsessed with Tully Blanchard as I was in 1985.
A lot of our mail says it's just a matter of time before one of you practically kills the other one. What's your reaction to that?
Well, I feel that the I Quit match was a situation where we almost did maim each other, almost to the point of taking it totally out of the realm of sport. And when that happened, it sickened me a little bit because it took a little of the heart out of me because I don't like that. I don't like the animal I became in the ring on that particular occasion. So for that reason, I don't ever want to have one of those matches again if I can possibly help it. I don't regret anything that happened, but I want to go on.
All right. From up in Portland, Oregon, one of the top challengers, Bobby Jaggers. Bobby Jaggers has recently gone from a fan favorite to a hated rule breaker, which he's been through most of his career. He's probably one of the most versatile wrestlers. He can use rule-breaking tactics and scientific tactics as well.
Well, I've done a little bit of scouting on Bobby Jaggers. He's a relatively heavy-looking man.
265 pounds.
And deceiving in the fact that you would not think he had the agility or the speed or the ability to execute the scientific maneuvers, yet when he gets the opportunity to take advantage of someone, he'll go right back to the old rule-breaking kick and punch type style of wrestling. So that makes him a man is dangerous and deceiving and hard to handle in the ring.
They call him the hangman. He uses that hangman hold, and he's another one, as you said, who's out to just destroy his opponents. Let's go to Mid-South right now. Ted DiBiase.
Ted DiBiase is a man that over the years I've developed a great deal of respect for, not necessarily caring about his personal aspects or his personality, but he has a great deal of wrestling ability. I've watched him in the ring with very large, strong men that relied totally on his strength. And he's always been able to conduct himself in a scientific wrestling manner if that's what he chose to do. The man has got a lot of stamina, a lot of endurance, and he's about 6'4", 255 pounds. You don't really comprehend how large the man is till you're standing right up on him. And I think he's got what it takes to be a champion.
Let me ask you this, though, Magnum. Recently, he suffered an injury which nearly ended his career, an injury to his neck. Would you go after something like this? You know he had a neck injury. Would this be your way of getting a contender out of the way quickly?
I never will go in the ring with an idea of working on someone's an injury per se. I try to weaken a part of the body, and that's just a strategy. But as far as the neck, I've never been someone that works strategically as far as front face locks or headlocks. That hasn't been my stronghold. I believe that sometimes it comes down to a point, maybe you've been wrestling 35, 40 minutes, where unconsciously maybe you go for something if you see a weakness, but that wouldn't be the first thing I'd go for in a match.
Okay, now at 275 pounds, Moscow, Russia, probably one of the toughest challengers you'll ever have, Nikita Koloff.
I feel outside of myself, there's probably no more intense young competitor in wrestling today than Nikita Koloff.
You know what? Let's take a break right here, and when we come back, let's take an in-depth look at Nikita Koloff. Okay, we'll be right back. Don't you dare go away.
They did 2 segments here.
Yeah, and he was talking about a neck injury on Ted DiBiase, and would you work on someone who had a neck injury and later on in the
Reports. I'm your host, Bill Apter. Once again, my guest, United States heavyweight champion, Magnum T.A. Before the break, we said we'd come back and discuss probably one of the toughest men in professional wrestling, Nikita Koloff.
I think when you're looking at Nikita, you look at a man, not necessarily the largest, not necessarily the strongest, but maybe one of the most determined young wrestlers in the sport today. I've watched him against many of his opponents. When he gets someone in there that doesn't have a great deal of experience, he doesn't waste a whole lot of time. He goes right out on a seek and destroy mission. He doesn't waste a whole lot of effort, a whole lot of moves. He goes out there and accomplishes his goal right off the bat. And I kind of can relate to that myself, because if you've viewed some of my matches, I've had quite a few very quick wins on television. That's my philosophy too.
As a reminder to everyone watching this, the reason they're talking about Nikita is because he and Magnum are going to hook it up in a major way that summer and do their whole best of 7 series for the U.S. title. So we're planting the seeds here in January for what's to come months down the road.
Now let's take a look as Nikita Koloff takes on Jerry Blackland.
So they're going to watch the match here. And boy, Nikita is as big as a house here. I mean, when you're just talking about size, Nikita is one of the guys. It's a match that you see here from late 85, November of 85. But they're just breaking down what he's doing to his opponent. And he's got a poor enhancement talent. He's just ping-ponging around the damn ring. But Nikita is busting at the seams. He looks like a WWF guy, does he not?
Yeah, he's a super heel is what he is.
He's a body guy. And Crockett was not usually enamored with body guys. He wanted, good, hard-hitting, fast-paced action. He wanted matches, not looks necessarily.
He'd have been a good heel for Hogan, wouldn't he have been?
That's what I was thinking, man. It's like, the 86 is the time when they're trying to find a big heel for Hogan, and they wind up with Bundy. And no disrespect to King Kong Bundy, but man, if he would have jumped ship and it was all American versus this evil giant Russian, that could have been Nikita's real claim to fame right there, WrestleMania 2. But he didn't do it, and he's loyal to Dusty. Dusty's taking great care of him, and they're going to do big business here. It turned out just fine, but him with Hogan feels like unnatural, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The big Russian heel, man. And look at that, man. Whoa. This segment is a little bit long for my taste.
Super long. Let's go back.
Perfected better than any other wrestler.
Well, it's just like any maneuver. There's some things that people are just specialized in. They do it better than anyone else. It's like my belly-to-belly suplex. A lot of people can perform the same maneuver, and it doesn't have the same effect. The clothesline, there's something about Nikita Koloff, the intensity, the speed, the way he executes that move that makes it come off like no one else.
Okay, now you have said, and we quoted you saying this, better dead than red. Nikita Koloff will never take your title. How strongly do you feel about this? I mean, what?
I feel just as strongly about this as I did when I was on the quest for this title. See, I feel that the only way you keep the prestige and the importance of a title upheld is by going against the toughest competition in the world today. I feel today that my greatest challenge out of all the people we named is Nikita Koloff, and he represents all the things that I disagree with. Mm-hmm. He's here living in our country. He's enjoying all the things that you get from living in America.
Makes
all the
American
freedom,
money.
Making our money,
right.
Living in our land, and constantly putting it down. And that's why I feel like this is more of a personal thing for me. Being the United States heavyweight champion, representing the United States,
yeah.
I'm not going to let this man take this from me.
Some people have nicknamed him the Russian Road Warrior. Do you feel that's a title befitting him?
Well, I've heard that, and I've also heard him called the Russian Nightmare, and I think that is more befitting. The man can be a nightmare to a great many of his opponents, but I think he's going to find in me that he's looking at a whole new ballpark.
Are you scared of him at all? Does he intimidate you with his size and his whole attitude?
I'm intimidated by no man. There's nothing to fear but fear itself. I believe if you're prepared to go in a battle, then you're ready. And when I go in the ring with Nikita Koloff, it will be a battle. I'm not going to take anything lightly about him. But he's not going to have an easy task with myself.
Okay, right now, Magnum, want to get to the portion of the show where the fans ask their...
God damn, how long is this segment?
I have no idea, man, but this is...
I can't, I'm not going to keep tracking it. Our fans are not one.
Don't. Yeah. You and I are more entertaining than this, I would think.
I mean, here's the thing. Like, I understand we're trying to... Oh, look, they turned the wood into a TV screen again. This is great stuff. Oh, we got to hear this promo.
Montreal, Canada. Thank you for sending in your questions. The question was, what are my favorite hobbies?
Oh, Jesus. I listen. Week one of 1986 Crockett TV was one of the best hours or 2 hours of TV we've ever seen in wrestling.
Right.
This is not the best follow-up effort. And I think it's just experimental. This Crockett or this after thing, way too long. Should have been one segment. I mean, you've produced TV way more than me. What would your recommendation have been to make that better?
It would have been one segment. The questions would have been out. We wouldn't have seen anything about Arn Anderson winning the television title. We would have, I don't know why we would have to talk about Mid-South and Portland.
Nope.
And all of that. I would have just talked about the angle between he and Nikita.
It feels like the Magnum, not Magnum, but the Mid-South and Portland thing probably would have been an after request to try to keep his journalistic integrity from the Pro Wrestling Illustrated side. So we're not just shilling for one promotion.
Right.
Oh, and there you see the address. Let me ask, you guys shot that in Charlotte. So after came down every single week and shot new stuff, or did he make one trip and you guys shot several?
Yeah, we shot several.
Yeah.
This is he had, and I don't know if it aired on our TV or not. I'm sure it aired on TV. He did one with Jerry Lawler. And that's the first time I met Jerry Lawler. Was Lawler came to Crockett's office to do one of these.
How was it?
It was good. Lawler was good. And I really think the Magnum's in his promo mode now. He's kind of looking at the camera. But these were done to continue to build a good relationship with Pro Wrestling Illustrated.
Yeah.
And I get that. I understand that, but man, it's thank God, shake his hand. See you later, Bill. Well, I'm going to text Bill tonight. I'll say, I just watched one of the scouting reports of Bill Apter in a 2-hour show. It lasts an hour and 15 minutes. So yeah. Whew. Well, I'm going to talk to Baby Doll here. And I think that's worth tracking because she's a perfect 10.
Well, listen, guys, I'm sorry we wound up tracking that so long. Our plan is to entertain you and not hope that they can, but I do feel like we need to listen to Baby Doll. So let's see what she's saying to Tony here.
Rhodes is personal, along with a national heavyweight title belt.
That's right. Last week I came out here and I took up a little bit of Arn Anderson's time and I told him a special message. Well, I'm out here now because Arn Anderson said something at the end of that interview that said that women were only good for making dinner and making babies. Well, listen, darling, I certainly am not out here cooking, and I certainly am not out here barefoot, but I'm out here with this message. and that was that you're next. And believe me, the cage match is set. Some bones of yours are going to be broken if Dusty Rhodes or myself have anything to do with it.
All right, man.
What do you think in real life Baby Doll cooks really, really well?
She probably smokes a good turkey.
Now, wait a minute. You have been on here for months, maybe years, in fact. So see Krusher Khrushchev, the Mid-Atlantic heavyweight champion, going to take on Sam Houston. Yeah. How about Sam Houston's get up here? How would you describe it?
That's, that would be Saturday morning cowboy shit.
How about the back of Barry Darso here? See, he missed time a cycle or what?
Yeah.
Dude, if his head sweats, it needs a fucking ATV to get to the crack of his ass.
I have to write that one down.
I'm just saying, God damn. Huh. Let me ask about Baby Doll though. You sort of insinuated that she was a redneck there.
No, I know a lot of people who run not redneck smoke turkeys.
Oh, hang on. No. Don't you back up now, motherfucker. You've said for years, oh, that's hillbilly redneck bullshit, smoking a turkey. You know who does that? Hillbillies and rednecks. And now I'm thinking you're going to drop a little, oh, I bet she makes a great quiche. I bet she does wonders with escargot. Maybe you're going to curve me and go, I bet she makes a mean grilled cheese, and Megan's got her beat there. Let me just tell you. Perhaps you'd go Old South and you'd say sweet potato casserole, something like that. But no, you said smoking a turkey, which is code for you're slamming on our girl here, saying she's a hillbilly or a redneck. And that's not fair.
No. I wasn't slamming on her.
You were.
I just wanted to get your old puffy ass riled up is what I wanted to do.
Oh, I'm an old puffy ass.
It worked.
You're the one on TV with those fucking rosy cheeks looking like Tammy Faye Baker.
Wow.
Look at that back.
Holy shit. You're right, man. Holy shit. But there was one thing that happened a lot here.
God damn, Sam Houston sold that. Did you see how big he sold that shoulder tackle? Holy shit, dude. Sam Houston flew across the ring for him.
Yeah, Sam and Baby Doll probably had a long night.
Oh my God. By the way, those boots I think he's wearing right there were listed on eBay forever and ever and ever.
You didn't get them?
No. I think they were like outrageously priced, if I recall. Oh, I'm looking at them right now. They're still listed.
Are they really?
Guess how much they cost?
$1,500.
Higher.
3,000.
Higher.
4,500.
You said 4,500?
Yes.
Higher.
6,000.
Higher.
Are you serious?
Higher.
8,000.
Higher.
10.
Higher. $11,000.
What?
He wants $11,000.
Oh. God bless him.
The guy says, I obtained these boots on eBay when they were listed after Slammers in California, where the boots were on display was closed. I have no certificate of authentication. The boots have been stored in a non-smoking, no pet home.
Which means it doesn't smell like smoke and no one's pissed on them.
Well, we don't know that no one's pissed on them because, you know.
Yeah. Well, no dog is pissed on them more than likely.
There you go. Did you ever go through a pissing phase?
No. Let me say something about a pissing phase.
I wanted to see if I could say it without laughing, and I couldn't. I tried.
Everyone pisses, don't they?
I didn't mean that. I meant with Lois or Klondike.
Oh God, would you stop it?
What?
Would you stop with this fucking, anyway, so here's what I wanted to say, which is kind of serious here.
Listen.
You know how I think I mentioned Ric Flair at the beginning of the show and he didn't show up?
Yes, I remember.
Okay. There were a lot of times, many times, because of travel and because of guys missing airplanes. And Tully even said, I almost missed the airplane. And because of guys being out somewhere like, Cincinnati or somewhere else and flying in, that we would think that guys were going to be there and then they weren't there in time to do the show. So that happened. We had to, or Dusty, who formatted the show, had to kind of format it on the fly a lot of times. But in effect, compared to what we do today, it was a simple show. You either wrestled or you talked at the set.
Right.
That's basically all you did. Now we do all kinds of different things. And we have entrances and things like that. But it was pretty formula show. So, but a lot of times things had to change. Things changed up. And I have a feeling that I probably said Ric Flair would be there thinking he was going to be there. So there. I was trying to think, why would I say that? And then all of a sudden it hit me and I remembered how many times I had to change things out. So now, anything else you'd like to talk about besides pissing?
About what? Besides what? Pissing what?
A pissing phase or contest or whatever it is.
What do you think the set that you guys are standing in front of when you do these interviews? What do you think that is these days? Do you think Jackie Crockett has it?
He might have it.
When we hang up, I'm texting him.
We should have asked David when we had him on the show, on the ad-free shows.
Oh, I couldn't ask him with everybody listening, because then they'd start hitting him up trying to buy stuff. What I'm saying is I can't raise the price on myself.
I got you.
Because there'll be somebody out there listening. You know who you are, David Brush and Kova, and y'all are going to be trying to snag this shit when I'm the one who's asking these questions on here. Don't you be getting behind, jumping the line on me.
Yeah, exactly. He's the one doing the leg work, and you guys are just sitting down, getting the payoffs.
It's bullshit.
Bullshit. He's probably one of those people on Facebook.
Oh God. Oh, why did you even get on Facebook, dude?
I don't know, man. And I was fucking hopping mad today.
I could tell. You texted me and you said, "Hey, I can record at that time." And I said, "Okay, I'll be ready." And you said, "Will you be drunk?" And I'm like, "What? I've been recording podcasts all day where you were fiddle fucking around with your kids who don't really love you at all, you know?"
They don't really love me at all.
Yeah. Oh man, look at that. Big press slam. You know what? He had the strength to do that. I wonder how, as we get a good shot of his back as he climbs in. Can I just say that if Nikita Koloff was pissed off at you in a bar, you probably wouldn't fuck with him.
Nope.
How about when he's just walking around with a chain around his neck like that? Can you imagine if you're just like bebopping through your downtown, that motherfucker's just walking around with a chain around his neck? You'd lock the car door, or at least make sure it was locked.
That's right.
Have you heard about licking frogs to get high?
You're so full.
Apparently people lick frogs to get high. And I just wonder, as I see Barry Darso's back here, if you licked his back, would you turn into the Incredible Hulk? What would happen?
He's doing a hell of a job of selling this leg here.
Might not be selling.
I know. That's what I was thinking for a minute.
Oh, I don't want to see his butthole. Get another shot. God damn it. Who's running the truck? Get another shot.
I tell you, it's the TBS people.
Well, I mean, there's like zooming in on sphincter. That was the sphincter cam. We've had the referee. Well, this is the butthole cam. I didn't need that. I wonder if that's how he came up with his name. Hey, will you smash all these bumps on my back? We're demolition. Oh, here they come. The Road Warriors are here. Let's track it. How about it? Sam Houston gets the upset win. Crowd goes wild. Look at him, Tony. Just look at him. Did my best.
Kick him like a dog.
Road Warriors and the Russians, man. It's good stuff. Oh, and Dusty's here. Look at him going nuts for Dusty.
When I saw this thing that build that was going to be Krusher against Sam Houston, I remember thinking, I think Sam became the Mid-Atlantic champion at one time. And this was the time.
So boys and girls, week 2, and we've got a new Mid-Atlantic champion. Things are happening here on our What Happened When revisits Crockett 86. Did you wear cowboy boots and jeans in this era or no?
Oh, no, I've never been much for jeans. I don't like jeans at all.
Does it restrict your sack meat, or why are you anti?
I don't think they're comfortable. I never thought they were comfortable. I know the commercials say real comfortable jeans, and I say real bullshit commercial.
Here we go. Track it.
Seeing red. We're seeing lots of red. New Russians have been in our face. Now we're going to get news. Who's got the chain now? Who's got the chain? The Warriors got the chain. I'll tell you what else. You Russians better get ready, because we're coming. And when we come, boy, you're in a lot of trouble. Tell them, Big Red.
You know, Schiavone wrestling is a game in which you're either the teacher or you're taught a lesson. Russians, you were just taught the lesson of your lifetime, and it's only beginning now.
We'll be back right after this.
I like the Road Warrior promos. Does that make me a bad person?
What's that? Make you a bad person?
Yeah, I'm just asking.
No, you're a bad person anyway before that.
Oh, thanks. Arn Anderson in the ring here, going to be taking on Jim Jeffries.
Jim was one of the guys that we had seen. Remember the state, not Sergeant Bailey Parker, but they had a couple of, on like one of the first Clash of the Champions. They had the helmet on, like motorcycle cops. He was one of those guys.
See, what do you think of Arn Anderson's boots? I like these boots, I think, better than just about any he wore. I know he likes the Anderson style boots, and I get that. But these right here, I don't know why, but the white and red always were like what I imagine Arn Anderson wearing.
Yeah, you know what? He to me the Anderson boots were only Anderson, not him.
Well, I think they
Yeah, I
just
like
mean a
these
lot
boots
to him
much
because
better.
he respects, them.
Right. Absolutely. I agree with all of that, man. So I wonder if there's, baby doll's talking.
Here we go. Got to track it.
Yeah.
That we have set up.
All right. Dave? Oh, that's right. You heard Baby Doll.
Oh, Baby Doll, he knows you're here now.
Yes.
Hey, look, this is it.
Go for it, Jeff.
He almost lost it right there.
Jeffrey should have taken better advantage of that situation since Arn seemed to make his attention known.
Gourd Buster, that'll do it. 1, 2, 3. And if I was a betting man, I bet Arn's got something to say. Let's track it.
Yeah, I bet there's an angle too.
Arn Anderson, the world television champion. Here's your title. You won it.
Oh, my, baby doll.
Yeah, that's what you think. Not for very
Since
long.
when does Dusty Rhodes have to have a woman do his talking for him?
Dusty Rhodes doesn't have to have me do anything for him.
The last thing I need on my interview time is a painted lady telling me anything. Where's Rhodes?
Listen, I don't have to do anything, Rhodes, but maybe you better look behind you.
There he is.
Hey, he wanted him.
What a great little moment here.
Yeah.
The last thing I'm going to do is have a painted lady out here telling me what to do. And then he wants to know where Dusty is. Dusty snuck in the back door. He's in the ring waiting on him. This is good stuff.
Yeah, that's a good way to end the show. I thought they would, and we got about a minute here, I guess, left. So I don't know if Arn is actually going to roll in the ring. And yep, maybe he is.
He's definitely
maybe
going
the
to
tape
tease it.
machines are still going to be rolling, and we'll show you what happened next week. Not.
Nope.
Oh,
Arn takes a powder.
Oh, there you go.
Heel Jones. Oh, here you go. Let's track it.
We'll see you next week on World Championship Wrestling.
Quick little promo and gone.
Hey, so he says, now's not the time and the place. I'll see you when I'm ready. Producer Virgil Reynolds, Wayne Daniel, Ken Carter. By the way, we need to really slap old Tammy Miller around for making you look like Raggedy Ann. Hey, this is fun. And by the way, one of the things I want to point out is how the booking really all sort of comes together. I mean, last week we saw the Road Warriors saying, we're going to find another partner to join us to take those 6-man championship belts from the Russians. And then to this week, they ran out and attacked them. Last week, we saw J.J. Dillon say, hey, we're going to do the domino effect on Dusty Rhodes, and we're going to take out everybody associated with Dusty Rhodes, but we're going to save the best for last. And you're going to be the last one to fall. And when you do, we're taking back Baby Doll and we're taking back that title. We're going to start with Jimmy Valiant. So the idea is Tully wants Dusty, but he's going to work his way up. Sure. And then of course, Dusty responds and says, oh, before you take out one of mine, I'm going to take out one of yours. And Baby Doll says, we're going to start with Arn Anderson. So I like the idea that yes, we're going to get there, but we're going to tell a story and take our time as to how we get there. And along the way, Dusty's saying, I want to be the world champion. And one of the things I really like, which is Flair's belt, which is obviously what they're doing around the loop. But one of the things I really liked that we heard last week and this week is Dusty said something like, as long as I'm the highest paid athlete on any given night and I make $500,000 a year, I'm happy, or something like that. Right. And then Ron Garvin started this week saying, hey, I want to make $500,000 a year. And that's what holding Flair's belt pays. And I'm going to get there. That in today's money is well over $1 million, but I just love the idea that you're talking about the money associated with being the champion and winning matches. It added a layer of realism. It's not just, you stole my hat, brother, and you got hard times coming your way. It's no, I want to make a fucking $500,000 and I'm going to beat your ass because I want to provide for my family.
It's kind of the same thing that JR alludes to a lot on AW now. He says it a lot. He says, you want to win because winners get the most money.
Yeah. Right.
And that's the old school drilling that Jim had. Right. I mean, so he still believes in that. And, so that's why he says that a lot now. So,
yeah. Well, listen, this was fun. We're going to be back next week watching, week 3 of Jim Crockett Promotions. Of course, you can see what we're doing over at adfreeshows.com. We're also going to be posting bonus episodes, from all the other episodes that the WWE Network has posted from 1986, but we're going in order. And I want to remind you, we are still doing crazy off the wall by request topics over at patreon.com/WHW Monday. We recently watched Monday Night Raw from 1996 and Survivor Series 1994. And there's going to be more bonus content every single month, plus interactive Q&As and lots of behind the scenes stuff. It's all happening at patreon.com/WHW Monday. Yes, there are 2 Patreons. There's sort of our super Patreon with all of our hosts, but then there's one that's WHW Monday specific. It's grown into its own little family within a family, and we can't thank you enough for all of your support. And Tony, I know that you weren't even yourself really sold on the idea of we're going to watch the same thing week after week. 2 weeks in, buddy, I'm loving this. How about you?
Yeah, I'm digging it. And we've got on the horizon, we've got the Great American Bashes and the angles coming out of that. We've got the best out of 7, the best of 7. And I think maybe some of them were on this show.
Yeah.
Some of them were on, I think they were all televised. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not so sure. Or maybe the championship. I can't remember exactly. Maybe that book will tell you where they were. We may see one of those best of 7s, which a lot of people still remember to this day. And then we're going to also see in 1986, which is a downer, but it's history. We're going to see the reaction of all of us after the accident to Magnum T.A. So this was a very eventful year in many, many ways, good and bad. And it's a good look back. It really is.
It is a great look back. And, unfortunately, when I look at the time, it's about that time.
And ladies and gentlemen, the perfect 10 Baby Doll comes to the ring, and her opponent for this match, the perfect 11, Lois Schiavone, as Chris Jericho would say. And now they're getting ready to, they're doing the boob bump, and Lois is going to win it with the boob bump because no one gets up from Lois Schiavone's boob bump. And we're desperately out of time. We'll see you next week on What Happened When, on Wednesdays on Westwood One, and on Mondays we come to you on
Patreon, patreon.com/WHW Monday. And of course, adfreeshows.com.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.